Africa has gold, and the gold we have is all we need to be rich. Our development is tied up to our resources, and it begins with agriculture and gold. To you that is watching me, ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what gold is all about? Have you seen the current price of gold on the bullion market? Ask yourself, what kind of commodity sees this kind of price hike all the time? It is over 127,000 US dollars per kilo today, 30th of October. At the end of October 2025 years ago, the same 1 kilo of gold was between $59,000 to $62,000. Just last year, exactly this time in October, 1 kilo of gold was selling for over $82,000, and today, $127,000. Don't take my word for it. Just Google it yourself. Today, the price is through the roof and will continue no matter what happens to the world's economy, because gold doesn't have an alternative. Meanwhile, we have it here plenty in Africa. We walk on it every day, ladies and gentlemen. And sometimes, ignorantly, we use it to build our homes while we starve for food. All this while foreign-owned companies are the ones benefiting from what we have. They've recognized its value, and they are all over in Africa mining, ladies and gentlemen. They are in Mali, just as they are in Ghana. And they've captured almost all the areas with the richest deposits. Today, ladies and gentlemen, President Assimi Goita is doing something completely different. He is reversing the capture of these mines. He has revoked 90 permits of such companies. And I thank God someone is waking up. 90 permits of foreign-owned companies. I told you how they capture our mines in other videos, if you remember. They do that through what is called exploration. You see, in order to mine, you first need to explore or determine whether there is gold in the land or not. That process of prospecting is what African governments have abandoned to foreign companies. So these smart foreign companies come in as exploration companies and end up registering the companies under their names. They register the concessions under their names for literally nothing. As I speak to you now, Mali is one of the only six African countries that has an active and profitable 100% owned state exploration company purposely for gold. It is called SOREM, Société d'Exploration des Ressources Minerales du Mali. I hope I'm saying it right. And guess who formed it, ladies and gentlemen? Yours truly, Assimi Goita, in 2022. And that is how he's able to determine where the gold is, who controls it, and the leasehold they have on it. Many of these companies have hijacked these mines. They are all foreign-owned companies looking for the highest bidders. Meanwhile, they took it for free from us. So, he has specifically revoked the permits issued to foreign-owned companies between 2015 and 2022 for gold, iron ore, bauxite, uranium, rare earth, and other minerals. These were permits issued under the ousted Ibrahim Keita government. And it's because this was the period in Mali when the most mining permits were issued in Mali's history. Now, doesn't that sound similar to what's happening in Ghana? From 2009 to 2016, 59 mining permits were issued by the state of Ghana. But from 2017 to 24, 1,990 permits were issued, and all happened under one government. But see what Assimi Goita has done in response to all these permits as compared to what we are doing. He has revoked them and asked all the companies to reapply. It is in the reapplication process that a lot of non-compliance issues have come up under the new mining rules in Mali, and the Malian government is reallocating these mines. I have a suggestion for Assimi Goita, if only my voice will reach him. You don't even have to reallocate these mines to anyone. We have indigenous African mining companies that are able to partner states in mining. They mine, process the ore, and refine the gold on behalf of the state, and then they split the output in percentages. That is one option you can consider. These companies are not many in Africa, but are capable of handling multiple mines at the same time. This is just one of the options, like I said. But the primary option is when the state itself is able to raise the needed capital for mining on its own. This is the ideal situation. However, ladies and gentlemen, when we mine the gold, we can do what the Middle Eastern countries have done. In the Middle East, there isn't any lands for mining gold, but they currently have 4% of the world's gold reserves, ladies and gentlemen. And they started buying just 2 decades ago. This is what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. America is a great nation because about 23% of the global gold reserves is in that country. It is controlled by their banks, their billionaires, and companies. When you look at the top 100 banks in the world as of 2025, there isn't a single African bank on it. It is dominated by American and Chinese banks, and these are the same countries with the world's largest production of gold, if you didn't know. And do you know why no African bank is on that list? It's because our bank reserves are insignificant on the global financial scale. But Goïta, Assimi Goita, can change all of that for Mali using gold. You see, gold isn't meant to be sold, ladies and gentlemen. We don't sell gold like we do for copper and diamonds. That's completely wrong. Gold is meant to be traded, and here is one of the ways it can be done. Take, for instance, when you have gold in the value of, say, $5 million, and you want to buy goods from China or from any manufacturer in the world. You have the gold, you want the goods. You don't need to sell the gold at all. You take the gold and open an account with any of the top 100 banks in the world. And you will understand why Africa should grow our banks into the capacity of being on the list of the top 100 banks of the world. You'll see it very soon. You understand it soon in a minute as I continue to explain this. So you take the gold and open a business account in any of those banks. And then, this is where the magic happens. You instruct your bank to send a letter of credit to the bank of the manufacturer. Ladies and gentlemen, your bank sends a letter of credit to the bank of the manufacturer. Now, this instruction will be sent by your bank to the manufacturer's bank, and the manufacturer's bank will be provided the value of your gold in safe in your bank. No money is involved, ladies and gentlemen. It is purely a banking language that is totally acceptable when the banks are on that list. So, because your bank has proven your value in the gold you have with them to the manufacturer's bank, the manufacturer's bank now informs the manufacturer of the deal, and they produce and ship the goods to you, the buyer, without payment. And most times provide you up to 90 days period of repayment. Ladies and gentlemen, 90 days for repayment. Meaning the buyer will receive the goods and probably sell them and use the same money from the sale to pay off the manufacturer without touching his gold. In the event the buyer is unable to pay the manufacturer in the stipulated time, the buyer's bank moves the buyer's gold reserves to the manufacturer's bank. This is an international banking and trading language, and most banks in Africa cannot do this because they don't fall within the range of top 100 because their asset value is simply insignificant, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, Assimi Goita can make that decision to focus on one state bank and develop it with gold reserves with massive branches across Africa. I remember Muammar Gaddafi had a plan like this with the BSIC bank he established across several African countries, including Mali, Ivory Coast, Niger, Senegal, Cameroon, Sudan, and many other countries. And he became a threat to the Western financial order, which triggered his troubles, ladies and gentlemen. It is a messed up story for those who know. Now, any African country with dynamic leadership can do so much with gold. That is simply what I'm trying to say. This era in Africa demands dynamism, effective and courageous leadership. There is no room for time wasters and those living in the past. No room for them. And I'm super glad we have these leaders in the Sahel region to show us how far we can go when we are courageous enough to step up to the challenge. Ladies and gentlemen, President Assimi Goita has earned my respect with this move. And I hope he sees this video because there is a lot he can get from it. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to subscribe if today is your first time on this channel. My name is Cyrus, and this is Tuntum Network in Accra, Ghana. I'll come your way again with another one very soon. It is bye-bye for now.